Welcome to On Wisdom Leadership, where we have collaborative conversations with thought leaders in their field on how we can unlock or switch on wisdom in leadership. Today we have Amanda Reynolds joining us. Amanda is a leadership and mindfulness coach. Welcome, Amanda.
Oh, thanks, Deb. Happy to be here.
On Wisdom Leadership works on the premise that our leaders are facing unprecedented times. And for us that are holding space as coaches, consultants, or trainers, we need to find new ways. Our old ways, the ways we learn in coaching programs and things, it's not going to cut the grade in supporting leaders with what they're facing now. And we do have innate wisdom within. When we're quiet, sometimes we're grappling with a problem and we just put it aside and we go for a walk or have a shower or have a sleep and it comes to us, right? So finding ways as practitioners, finding ways to help leaders uncover this wisdom within. We've got to work together to get good at doing that. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you very much for being on the show today.
Thanks, Deb.
And I love that you're bringing a mindfulness approach, a perspective to the way in which you're helping leaders develop. One of the things that we really underestimate in leadership is just how much our operating state affects what's going on for us. We know from neuroscience that when we're dysregulated, access to creativity, perspective, emotional regulation, and higher order thinking for decision making is drastically decreased. And leaders don't have the luxury of saying, I'm having a bad nervous system day, can you all just not have any expectations today? Still got to turn up, have the conversations, make the decisions, grapple with what's going on in the human dynamics. And we've all had those days. Wake up on the wrong side of the bed, have a bad hair day or shave day, as it was.
Yeah.
Right? And even the things that we know how to do and we're really competent with are harder. I'm curious how your mindfulness approach helps leaders develop a way of being intentional in choosing their operating state so that they can turn up in a quality way each day.
I'm going to pick up on the word intentional. That's the key word. So when leaders wake up in the morning, when all of us wake up in the morning, we're on autopilot. Unless we take that intentional moment to stop and reflect, tap into our breathing, our mindfulness practices, and it has to be intentional. It doesn't need to be lengthy. It doesn't need to take up a lot of time. It could be, 1 or 2 minutes in the morning, whether it's, in the shower or, when we're in front of the mirror, or even on the train or in the car. It's taking that moment to connect with our breath, with our body, to switch off the story from the day before. So that when we arrive at our first meeting, when we arrive, maybe we're meeting a client or we're having a team meeting, we're not already reacting to what we think is going to happen. And if you don't mind, I'd actually like to take a moment now and teach you a little trick that is really powerful. It's called dropping. And it brings you immediately into your body. So we take our hands and place them lightly on our laps. And then taking, you can have your eyes shut or open, and taking an inhale breath, raising our arms up above our heads. And then as we exhale, tapping our hands on our thighs.
Nice.
And we do this 3 times. Okay. So if you'd like, let's do 2 more. Okay. Taking an inhale breath up. And then exhale, dropping the arms down. 1 more. Taking the arms up. And then dragging the arms down.
Wow.
And how does that feel? I mean, and it didn't take long, did it?
No, it's energizing as well as kind of wakes you up, doesn't it?
Mm. And as coaches, I think it's useful to bring these types of tools to our clients, things that they can tap into in those moments of when they are, feeling the stress in their body, in their jaws, and their shoulders, and their hips, taking them out of autopilot and allowing them to tap into tools that bring them into their body, into the moment, the present moment.
Yes. So bringing them out of story, I noticed that it cut through the noise. Like I was focused on doing that and everything else was quiet while I was focused on doing that. Very effective. Thank you.
Thank you.
One framework that I find very helpful in leadership development is the Johari window. You would know it, the quadrant of the different domains of our psyche. We have the arena, which is what I know, it's easy to see. And then we have the facade, which are things that I know about myself but aren't available for other people. And then the blind spot, things that you would be able to see about me that I can't see myself. And then the shadow, things that I'm not even aware of. I'm not hiding from you, but I don't know that they're there and you can't see them. This is very helpful because it points to something really important. That is, these things that I can see about myself, and then there's a lot I can't, and yet it might be shaping how I'm turning up and what I'm doing, how I handle conversations or whether I avoid difficult conversations, how I might perform, whether fundamentally I feel safe in the world. Yeah. How might your mindful perspective help leaders to start to uncover some of these beliefs or things that are hidden from them so that they can be showing up in a quality way?
It's useful for leaders to stop and take a moment to check in with their breath, to take a moment to reflect before having a potentially difficult conversation with potentially maybe a staff member or a customer, so that they're aware of what they're bringing into the space and what they're bringing with them into that conversation, and taking themselves out of a place of being reactive to what they're expecting is going to happen. We all have a story. We all have a backstory, and that is written from our tribe, our experiences as we mature and as we grow throughout our career. And quite often leaders have come from a place of they might have been hustling for most of their career or their life. And as a leader, they need to be able to take that moment to stop and be present, to park the hustle, to connect with their core, at the core of who we are. And we all have a core, and then we have our crud, which is what we've collected, what we've picked up through our life experiences. And then we have the crust, which is a layer, the mask that we put on when we're around other people. And the mask might be different for different groups. So it might be different when you're at home with your family to what the mask that you wear when you're at work. And a really good question I like to ask leaders is, how is this showing up for you in your body?
How is this showing up for you in your body? That's really a question that stops you in your tracks, doesn't it? Yeah. You've got to get mindful to be able to answer that question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Great. We know in neuroscience that when people are stressed, their higher order thinking shuts down. In fact, the whole cerebral cortex goes offline, the walnut-looking part of the brain where we do our thinking. It goes offline. Our amygdala prioritizes threat and survival to conserve that cognitive bandwidth. nobody needs to be thinking long about what I'm going to do if there's a tiger coming out of the bush, right? So the problem is, though, when we are under stress, automated, wired in old patterns will show up, and that can be avoidance, defensiveness, all kinds of unproductive things. Yeah. Mindfulness work, how does that help leaders rewire some of these old patterns so that they're not reacting and automated in their responses to things?
There's a gap that exists between knowing and doing, and that's a nervous system gap. And what I mean by that is, think of all the leadership books that are out there, all the self-help books. And
Thousands.
And if everybody implemented everything that they read, all the ways to do things better or correct the right way, they wouldn't need coaching.
No.
They wouldn't need coaches.
No.
But that nervous system exists because people can know, you can know the fact, but then not do.
Yes.
Not do the thing.
Yes.
And so it's the doing when mindfulness really comes into play. It's implementing those practices and making them part of our daily routines so that when we're in that fight or flight state, they become automatic.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Really powerful. The gap between knowing and doing is a nervous system gap. And the way to get it into your nervous system is by practice. And not in the crisis, practice regularly.
Yes.
Practice before the stressful event, so it's there in your nervous system.
Yes.
What are some of these practices?
So it's allowing a point of rest, and it doesn't have to be for long. It can be for under a minute. So sitting here, a practice to tap into that is to look above, look in front, and look below. Or putting a hand on the belly and a hand on the heart. Things that bring us into the present moment, connecting to our body, connecting to our breath, taking a moment to pause before we respond. And if we practice these on a regular basis, then they become automatic. They become our go-to. So rather than being, we're in a panic state, we can just. I don't know if you sing. I love to sing, and there's something that I like to think about, and that is that the breath is the voice. Without the breath, there is no voice. And it's the same thing. We need to be able to tap into the breath, into the mindfulness practices, so that we can take stock of what's happening around us, not respond to our environment in that sort of fight or flight state, but be able to respond in a way that we've been practicing, for over an extended period of time.
What I take from that is, if you want a quality voice, you need to have quality breath.
Absolutely.
The voice is the breath. Yeah, wow. Let there be a gap between the stimulus and the response, and not be reacting. A practice that I have that helped me develop that gap, when I sit still in meditation in the morning, I give myself the instruction to not respond to any signal from the body. If you're sitting for a few minutes, you're going to feel an itch here, or I'm a little off balance and I want to, and just say, be still, and training the body to be still and wait for an instruction or a command to act flows over into the way in which we move around the world.
Yes. And it takes practice, doesn't it? It's called a practice for a reason, because it takes practice to show up for ourselves with intentionality, like to be intentional in the way that we show up.
And practice before you need it. I often will say, if you need to lift a heavy weight, you can't wait until you've faced with a challenge on your muscles to build a muscle.
Yes.
You've got to be in the gym, building the muscles, and then you're like, oh, I need to move this big bookshelf or what have you.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got the muscles ready. Same with the heavy mental lifting that we have to do. We've got to be building that mental, mindful muscle
Yes,
every day.
absolutely.
Modern day conditions are often described as VUCA, particularly in leadership domains. VUCA being volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. Wow, who loves any of those? Even one of them is quite activating to our nervous system. And yet these are the conditions that leaders have to operate in every day. Yeah. And they need to be able to keep calm, to be able to respond, make decisions, turn up in a quality way. The good thing is, the beauty about human beings are, even though our modern day conditions are literally challenging our biology, human beings are very adaptable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious how mindfulness supports leaders in building this adaptivity in their system so that they can remain calm to respond to the conditions that they have.
So a dysregulated leader is a reactive leader. And mindfulness isn't about teaching leaders how to be calm, to sit on a cushion and meditate while the world is burning around them. Mindfulness is equipping leaders with the tools so that they can reconnect, take a moment out where they can reset, and then they can step into the arena where they can then lead the team effectively.
So you're saying that mindfulness isn't, and calmness isn't about, or regulation isn't about being some zombie where you're unaffected by what's happening around you.
No,
But it's about being able to regulate.
yes.
And that is noticing what dysregulation feels like in the body.
Yes, absolutely. So dysregulation, it shows up differently for all of us. And with leaders tapping into mindfulness tools, being able to check in with their breath, check in with their body, they'll begin to understand how they respond in these threat or crisis situations. And it might show up in their jaw. They might be holding tension in their jaw and feeling tightness through their jaw or through their brow. Sometimes people furrow. We get that little line that nobody likes in the middle there. It might be that they're holding their shoulders forward or holding their breath. And if we're holding our breath, then we're building up a sense of tension in the body, holding tension in our hips, in our lower back. These are the types of things that you can start to become aware of and start to notice about yourself through these practices.
The takeaway I get from that, if we want to have a powerful voice, then we need to have a quality breath. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Amanda. It's been wonderful, rich conversation. I love the catchphrases. They're definitely going to stick. And thank you so much for the tools in mindfulness that you've shared today.
Thanks, Deb.
If you'd like to be in contact with Amanda, you can see her web details there. And if you'd like to know more about wisdom in leadership or mindfulness, find other resources, you're welcome to visit the website debmaes.com.au and check out the resources page. Thank you for joining us today.